So I have a couple of comments to make. I think one of the biggest thing in this is phrasing, resolutions, and the voicing. Where you have this, back to the soprano, watch. Soprano, alto, less. Alto. So remember we talked about you have to use less weight when you do the alto, which is underneath, and deeper in the keys. That was a big deal. I think the other thing is how you are resolving things like, and I'll show you what I mean. When you do this, resolve, you know, you feel these little resolve. You resolve. They're resolving over the measure. The phrase overall is ascending, so it's crescendo. Yeah, you know that. But you have to have little dips inside of the phrases where music tells you to do that, like this. Right? Ta-dum, ta-dum, tee-dum, ta-dum. Because you can hear it. Right? Ta-dum, right? Tee-dum. Exactly what you have to do. Dip down on the resolves. Think of the soprano. Soprano, alto. It's really not doing this. Watch, it's not going. That doesn't tell me anything. This tells me something. Soprano, alto. That tells me two different voices. How I played it just now. Yeah, you got to keep that in mind when you play it, for sure. Otherwise, the lines just run into each other. Like there's no counterpoint. Counterpoint means there's different lines. And I think another component of good Bach playing is spacing and singing pulse, right? So you want a very good pulse, not a metronomic pulse, but a singing pulse that holds us together. It's so important. Why? Because look how many sixteenths there are. Relentlessly, the beats are there for you, aren't they? Yeah, the other good thing in good practicing is if there are any stumbles along the way, you can't just keep going forward. You got to go backtrack and even play a little slower for a moment. Practicing that keeps having stumbles is like you're practicing stumbles into it. The other thing I want you to be aware of is sometimes you have sequences. Sequences, what do I mean by that? Do it like this and slower. Watch, slower. T, watch. Watch what I'm doing. Answer now to there. I got softer. I really just took the two voices and played with the sequence idea. The third beat on the treble G, where I have the stem down, the arrow down. Right here. Now I'm in 7. Sequence coming now to there. See how I fall down. Yeah, I started in measure 6 on the G in the right hand. You see the G on the third beat. You just did a sequence from E flat major to another key. To C minor. To C minor. To C minor. But then finally, right. He brings it into C minor for a moment from E flat major, which would be the relative minor, C minor. Sequences that are lower, not sequences that are saying something higher, make you want to kind of sigh down. Yes. And that's a beautiful moment, don't you think? You're like answering the major into the minor. So there's sequences all over this whole Allemande. That's why it's so beautiful. Like these are sequences. You know, you make that gorgeous diminuendo over all of those, which you know Murray does so well. That's another place, right? Because you know where in the beginning where it peaks, where it's going higher and higher with the dips, of course. And then it goes down. All those chains of 4/16 go down, 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 down. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them till it comes down to the what? The G in measure 5, where he has this. Now he starts going back up, doesn't he? I think you can make a bigger diminuendo by starting higher. Yeah, start deeper, and as you say, don't get too soft too soon. But you do have to get softer so we hear it getting softer. Right, but get there, you should be almost nothing. You know, you're hardly using your fingers. You're just kind of dragging your fingers with the lightest arm weight that you could possibly, you know, lift off your arms. Very light arms. Because, you know, this piece is all very floating and flowing because it's broken chords, arpeggios. But let me say one thing. Be careful of this. It's a very tricky place where you have this right here. It's easy to thump on that A flat. Lighten your thumb. Lighten your thumb. Wait. How do you do it? Just think under thumb. Under. See how I do under thumb? Under thumb. You want to hear it because you want the harmony. You know, that seventh? But just don't slam it. You'll be fine. You can put more weight into it, like ta. That's okay. We still want to hear it here. Still want to hear these. I mean, because they give you sevenths. We want the seventh, the dissonance, don't we? But do remember, as you continue, that you have two voices again. The two voices of this. Watch. Less. Watch. Less. Da dee dee dee. Alto less. Soprano more. Soprano, alto, soprano. Suspension, trickle in. Into the other. Here's alto. Soprano, alto less. Soprano here, alto less. Soprano, another thing is this is ringing out, so this has to be less, right? That is still hear your soprano ringing out over that tie. Well, it also is the physical translation of that into how do you play a lower voice with lighter arms and an upper voice with more arm weight. That you have to learn how to do, right? The weight difference of the two voices. That's hard. You have to really control that. It's not easy. And then it's easy for thumbs to slam down when you don't want them to slam. Yeah, so three things happened that made it better. One is you were listening for harmony and resolutions. You were dichotomizing your voices now. You had more spacing to the notes, and you learned to arm transfer weight between voices and differentiate that. That was better.